Hey folks, Nick Tuckert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before I get into it, and I change my glasses and my Mr. Rogersian shift over here, I want to remind you that the Historical Fencing Guild is made possible by, by, amongst other things, the Historical Fencing Guild Livestream is made possible by a grant from the Independent Creator Directory, that's indiecd.org, as well as sales of my books, The Simple Sword, The Fighting Axe, and The Simple Spear, and my fiction books that aren't related to them, including Through the Thinning Veil, 7 spooky stories to chill your bones and get you through the night. So check that out. All those are available on Amazon at amazon.com/Nicholas Talker. There's a bunch of other good. Look me up. The links are in the description. But most importantly, my stuff is brought to you by the patrons. My patrons over on Patreon. About a little more than a half dozen wonderful people are what allow me to afford gear, to train people, to upgrade my facilities, to keep things going. Their financial support is just without there isn't enough for me to say for how much I appreciate these fine folks. So if you are interested in what we do, please consider becoming a Patreon member for as little as $1 a month. Will help me keep the lights on. I am planning a whole series of Patreon exclusive breakdown videos on the techniques that I teach, as well as several other very special things. And they get to basically lump any content they want I try to make. I have a list. Actually, I have a long list of videos that I will be doing. They'll get to see them first. And many times they decide if a video goes public or stays Patreon only. So that is one of the great secrets in life. Now, with that all being said, hi guys. Hope you're having a great week. We've made it through. For where I am, if I seem a little discombobulated, bit of news related to the guild. Mandy, my beloved wife, did have a bit of an accident. She is okay, but whilst we were trying to resurrect the list field, she was pulling an especially difficult weed and slipped while holding on to the weed, and it didn't give right away, so she has strained her shoulder rather badly. She is medicated, she has a sling, and we are getting by. But that does mean she will not be playing tomorrow for the first practice of the fall season of the Historical Fencing Guild. It also means that my efforts to both clean the house and set up the list field are somewhat stymied. We will do the best we can for the local folks. Now, for the non-local folks, if we do indeed have fighting, we are listed to be joined by James Robertson, a.k.a. Jim. You've seen his work, an amazing shieldman. He is recovering from a leg injury, and if he is walking, he'll probably fight. If he can't, we'll improvise, and if not, I'll have to do a whole bunch of make it up to you guys videos Sunday, which I have a fallback plan for that. There is also another major announcement in our dear friend Bladed Thesis. Okay. And I'm going to jump ahead to bring his stuff up. Put the link in the chat, Thesis. This Saturday, we'll be running his first live stream. I don't know if it's ever, to answer your questions about Eastern sword combat. Thesis is fairly knowledgeable, so I think it could be a good thing. Depending on time zone differences and attendances, I probably will have to catch that in the rerun because it's the same day I've scheduled a live practice, and I have to tend to live combat first, obviously. But with that with that all said, I have been doing a little bit of research and digging into some things, trying to figure out what is going on that we need to talk about. Uh, First thing I want to do is I'm going to be, how do I want to put this? In the background, I have been working towards something. And is Johnny here yet? I don't believe uh Johnny is in the house right now, so I can kind of let this slip. I have in the past been a rather formidable dual weapon fighter. Those of you who followed the long story know that I developed several neurological conditions and breathing conditions, and they're probably all tied together, which made me unable to do so. I lost most of the strength and my ability to hold things. I am in training to try to go back to a type of dual wielding I used to do, well, about a lifetime and a half ago, actually. I'm trying to bring back a variant of my two-handed fighting style and dual wielding fighting style using sabers or scimitars. Yes, as Johnny might say, going full Drizzt. Uh, I am using the drills for that technique to speed up my current recovery and development because it's allowing me basically to keep my both my arms training at the same time and get the same number of repetitions in to get that build up. Now it's very slow, but I am oddly hopeful about that, and I think we can progress nicely as that if this proves to be effective, because I've had to build up from the ground essentially many times. I will be shooting a variant video very akin to the original Nine Guards video. I created this very channel to make available to my students. That would be the first video I ever shot. It is in upright position. I've shown it every once in a while I dig it out. I may share the link around just so you can see how much I've aged since that part of this adventure. But it's a good feeling, guys, to be building back towards active practices again. I know a lot of my locals don't make the live streams or the shows. And a lot of the show folks, unfortunately, can't make it out for the local things due to the fact that it's many thousand miles for some of you and the cost, etc. But someday I would love to do essentially a convention kind of setup where everybody gets together and, or as many of you as possible, and has just a good time talking and training and sparring. I think it would be a great adventure. Not quite sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try. Till then, I have to bring myself back up to a functioning level where I feel like I can do things without overdoing it and causing a setback. This is a challenge. This is walking a razor's line. But I'm willing to try it because I just need one more shot at this to keep doing what I do. So I'm hoping that is of interest and benefit to you guys. I also have been looking through the gear, and I will probably in the next 2 weeks be reaching out to Christian to see if I can't encourage the creation of some more of the quote unquote child size training swords. I think for a large number of us that have mentioned being of smaller size and proportion and needing a lighter weapon to train, a two-handed weapon with about a 20-inch blade would be very effective and also useful for indoor, lightweight build from the ground training, which is what I'm all about. Now, my phone is apparently going absolutely bonkers for reasons that everyone knows what I do at this time of night. Let's see. Okay. We shall see. I think I know what's going on. I've been handling some things, and we may have some help with actually facilities things. That's why that's running. Um, for those of you who don't know, in case it got missed, the gentleman who helped us with the facilities around here, handling some of the yard stuff, because I'm technically not supposed to use power tools with the nerve damage, uh, had some legal problems, to put it mildly. And there was a whole drama around that. And I don't, I'm hoping, I'm praying for, everything to work out to the best. But it did greatly impede my ability to have things like my list field done. But the throwing range is up, and I do need to shoot those videos. The temperatures are down, so I'm not contending with 100-degree temps. Life is going a lot better over here. Um, there is one other project that has been discussed in past years that may be discussed again. If I do uh, engage in this conversation, it will be in separate videos. Uh, um, for the safety of one of our viewers, specifically Cindy Kett. That being, in previous years, there have been talks of attempting to choreograph a entry to the lightsaber choreography contest. No, I do not expect to win, but it might be fun. And if there's no cost to enter, why not? So with the lowering cost of so-called combat sabers, the lights, I have some short ones that are of dubious quality. Uh, the lightsabers that you see people spar with, we may do some of that both as a means of simply being fun and as a means of making sure there's no confusion about what we're actually doing at any given time. And if we're going to do that, if local people are interested, which I will be reaching out and asking about, I'll start saving up to acquire at least a decent set for myself. These won't be something I can afford to loan out to people due to the rather high cost relative. Uh, but I need to know if that's something you'd be interested, because even the lightsaber format has some flaws, but there is interest. Again, if we do anything lightsaber related, I will notify Cindy Kep. I'll give flash warnings and such, so that she doesn't have to, and anyone else who is epileptic or otherwise triggered by flashing lights doesn't have to witness that. It's something I'm thinking about. Plus, between you, me, and the wall, guys, I just started Ahsoka. I think we're 3 or 4 episodes in. Don't give me any spoilers. But the bad guy, fallen Jedi, Lord Balin's name, uniform, it speaks to me in my soul. It's a gorgeous tunic. And I'm hoping somebody does a really nice pattern for it. I don't know. A man can dream. I'm also trying to lose weight enough to fit my nice padded tunic, which once it's cool enough, I can wear that instead of a coat, be safer, and look smart, great. So there are options. We all work towards building towards these different options. Like I said, knife throwing is going back on the menu because we have a new target, thanks to Lester Wooten, who sadly won't be available for the foreseeable time, if ever again, due to some life choices and situational things. Um, and we're building back up. Tomorrow I may have a new student but with the same name as mine, so we'll see how that goes. If they're comfortable being recorded while we do stuff, I will record it. If not, they have the right to relative privacy. Being that if I'm filming things and I tell people I'm filming, uh, if you wander in the background, you know, after it's been corded off, it's kind of on you. We have to have that policy because we had some difficulties in the past. Now, I need to look into some new gear because I've been hearing that like PHA has some new stuff coming. I need to look into, uh, Amazon, I've seen a couple very odd weapons go by, but I can't. Every time I go to follow the link, something goes wrong. So we may do some sword surfing as it is. I also one more point, and this is a small one, but I did get to briefly make contact with a fight choreographer who worked with Felicia Day, and I may be reaching out to see if I can follow more of his work, and just find out if I can get more information to pass on to you, because some people have asked me about, again, going back to the lightsaber thing, fight choreography versus actual training like I do, because what I do is sort of in the middle of a lot of different fields. And I will admit I have a huge gaping weakness for fight choreography. So it's something I could educate myself in, and maybe a bit safer while I'm doing recovery. If that's something you're interested in as well, hit me up. But I'm going to take a minute. We're going to go through the chat. And after I have a drink, sorry guys, got to stay hydrated. Oh, and pardon my lack of actual Hawaiian shirt. I know this is a polo, but the temperature was cold enough I needed a sweater this morning, and I needed to be able to be back in Hawaiian mode by this evening, which is September in northern Indiana. Northern? I think I'm still northern. Anyway, we'll go through the chat, we'll catch up, and then we'll see what's on you guys' mind, and then we'll go forward with it. Alex Creations first to the door at 7:30. Evening all. Hey, Alec, good to see you. And Thesis, of course. Hey, Sword Family. Great to see you, Thesis. I know you're going to do absolutely bangarang tomorrow. And share the link, share the time, and if you could get if somebody could translate that to either Eastern or Central time so I can process it, please let me know. Waves. Hi, Cindy. I learned to be safely dangerous. Amazon.com/store/Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tucker. Yes, on that front, once I knock out the next, I had 3 or 4 projects, and I recently knocked this one out. Once I knock the next couple things out, I'll be spending this winter deep diving, possibly resurrecting the Strong Sword project while working on the Tactical Kindness, the book I don't want to have to write. So there's a lot of that coming too. And yes, DeviantArt, again, off topic, but I got behind on my submissions of the art I was doing for my other channel, Nicholas Tucker. Just look that up on YouTube or the links below. Follow me there, because I do a live stream 3 days a week. 4 if you count my art streams. But the art is going up to DA, so my DeviantArt account will be flooded very soon with new art. Support Nick's efforts to teach people to be safely dangerous. Patreon.com/Historical Fencing Guild. Yep, and I'm coming on an arc where I will be doing a lot of stuff just for the guildies, for the Patreon folks, because you guys deserve it. You just need to tell me what all you want. And tune in to tonight. And Off in the Woods, howdy. Hey, how you doing? It's been a while. I hope you're well. Tune into the Historical Fencing Guild tonight at 7 p.m. Yeah, I love when you love to put the links. And yes, get real fake weapons at woodenswords.com/?click=1745. That is my affiliate link. It costs you nothing extra, but I get a small percentage from any sale, or I should, from you going through that. And far more important to me are the click-throughs, so that they know over at Purple Heart Armory that I'm sending people, so that when I say, hey, can you make some more of these youth longswords? It happens. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah, it basically threw my schedule off, because she got hurt, and I'm when Maddie gets hurt, I get worried, and when I get worried, the whole world stops till I make sure everybody's okay. So I got worried, and made her go to the doctor. She thought she was going to get ho-hummed, and she got basically medicated and told, nope, you can wear a sling. And with her, she needs to, or else she'll overdo it. And that means she won't be quite up to some of the things we had planned, because I had hoped to get some more staff/spear/glaive work out of her, because it's good for her, but perhaps after she recovers. Of course, now, and her typing will be slowed, so she can't write the sequel to her books currently, but I will bug her shamelessly about that. Hope Amanda feels better. Hope the pain eases. Yes, crown fighting practice. She fought the ground, and the ground won. Or everyone get a chair. I have a stock of Rita chairs. Good to know. Shadow Fist Kung Fu and Tai Chi will be doing a demo at White Eagle Multicultural Powwow tomorrow at 4 p.m. Oh, really? Does that? I assume you're going to be participating. Will you record that so that we can watch? I'd love to see it. Good evening. Good evening, Blue Teddy. I hope you're having a lovely evening. And I wanted to comment. I'm very proud of Blue, because Blue is back doing live streams or podcasts, or what she does is she puts up awesome art and then reads a story while she does it. Thus the Blue Teddy narration. And she had a really neat piece on Snow White and some of the stuff that's coming out of it. It was fascinating. So Blue, thank you as always. Get better, Amanda. I will grab my link when I come home. Excellent. Dual wield, the only way to go. Makes it easier to swap handedness when needed. Exactly. I need to make more leaves. Working on it. Easy pattern, but I need a pile of them for a hat. On the matter of Patreon, I need to post this week. Ooh, leaf hats are fun. Yes, her hats are amazing. But we'll start learning the only Ying Jiao Pai form that is set to music involving two swords. Yes! Twin sword form. I am so excited. Curve the lightsaber. Put a tsuba on it. You'll win so hard. Hey, let's put a Beskar cup hilt on it. Yeah, I will win. Rapier that. I mean, what? What? No, you can't just stab them with the lightsaber. You have to swish around like you're a drunken ferret on speed. I mean, what? Let's see. Thesis I will possibly be using power tools this weekend. I've got a new project to work on. Excellent. Eep. There's another Nick Tucker. What? I don't understand that one. There should only be the Nicholas Tucker YouTube channel and the Historical Fencing Guild. Oh, the second, my grandfather, but he's deceased. So there was another Nick Tucker, or technically I count as another Nick Tucker. Sorry. Unless somebody has tried to hack my name. Not specifically martial arts related, but it can be depending on how you look at it. Yep. Teleports in, drops the light, grabs the water, tips his hat to the host, teleports back out. Hi, Joe. Bye, Joe. Joe's having fun in the green room. Let's see. Hi, Joe. Bye, Joe. Squeaking closer and closer to making my dice-powered fight choreography generator. Ooh! That's delightful. Okay, 5 Mountain is 7 Eastern time. Okay. So we will see what's going on. If no one's out here, I will make it. If I am playing a good host, I'm obligated by the rules of hospitality to be a good host. I'd love to record it, but I'll be at the wrong angle or swing a fan around. If someone I know shows up who isn't in the demo, I'll see if I can recruit them to record. That's wonderful. I know another woman who tends to overdo it. Thanks for the shout out and support. That's what I'm about, Blue. Uh, and that's when you do this, Blue Teddy. YouTube.com/@BlueTeddyNarrations. Well, thanks, Joey. I'll hand all the hand of. Oh, I'll get the hang of the whole promotion thing one day. The student you have. Oh, yes. Oh, not Nick Tucker, just Nick. I don't know his last name. He may also have a comment dump. Give me a moment. I see. Yes, my name, Nick Tucker, not Nick Tucker. There are my line is nearly extinct. There are very few of us left, and fewer still in the Americas of any mention. So yes, I'll get. Let's see. Just it's always weird. No, I'll get the hang. I'll work on typing. That's fine. No problem. It's exhausting being so. I could. That's how. You know what? That's how Johnny stays in shape. He's just that perfect. But I want to know, guys, what weapons do you think of when you think of dual wielding? Because for me, and giggles from Blue Teddy, you know, the one thing I get about Johnny is his intense humility. Because for me, being, you know, my big core of my background is being a rapierist, a fencer, SCA style, mid-realm SCA, so heavy rapier, not epee, although I did a bit of classical fencing. So my brain goes to sword and dagger, case of rapiers, Florentine swords, and of course, you know, dual safes, scimitars, sabers, things like that. Simply because it's a very familiar style to me. But I'd like to know what you guys think of. Let's see. And dual wield, two weapons of any sort. For me, it's always two foils or foil and a main gouge. Now, I love a foil. And let's see, where's my thin blade? Oh, God. It is. I see one of my foils, but I don't see my pretty thin blade. I'm cleaning my study, so I've been working on things off camera. And it is funny, you don't need a lot for offhand, but when you're dual wielding offensive weapons, it's interesting. This is an ancient, what would be called a railroad spike, that actually has corroded a bit or something in the time. Wow, that's really weird. Look at that. I can't use this, so this has to be cleaned up and retired. But it appears to have corroded somehow. That's odd. It's not rust. Maybe it's just dust. Okay, it's just some kind of fine dust. But I'm going to clean this up and put this up on the wall with my mainline rapier because I think it's time to properly retire this old beast once I repair it and get cleaned up. And now once I say that and I put it in my hand, I'm like, I don't know, friends. There might be some life left in this. So the restoration video for this still has to happen. As my hands are getting better, let me put that back. Not clatter, clatter, thunder, boom, boom, boom. Maybe. There we go. Anyway. But yes, lighter weapons work very well. Twin axes work very well for me. Twin short swords. Banjos? Well, see, I need I need 4 arms to do dueling banjos. That's far too General Grievous for me. Sai? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Paired Sai is fun. Those guys are hung up over there. Fan, brass knuckles. Now that's a neat point because I forget about punch enhancers as melee weapons, which sounds stupid, but when you've done so much knife work and other stuff, your brain kind of goes there. But is technically dual wielding. I think though, if I'd had my druthers, I'd rather upgrade to a full gaunt because a gauntlet is essentially uh, a brass knuckle all over, and it gives you superior protection. They're also a great offhand if you have a chainmail palm piece. The inside's chainmail. Then you can grab sharpened blades all day and not worry about it. Butterfly swords, another great point, and this is one you might enjoy discussing, Thesis, because I would love to see a breakdown on the butterfly sword. The early butterfly swords, from my understanding, were much longer and narrower. They were triangular blades, whereas the modern butterfly swords are almost look like butterfly swords. You have to say butterfly swords because butterfly knives is another word for a balisong, and it gets confusing in some cases. But they have that very blunted look to them. I'd love to know why they switched from the classic piercing style, because I look at that and like, I know how to make that go. That would be a very natural, and it would be something that could be dual wielded in the single hilt very naturally. But do you know why they evolved from the traditional? I mean, they were short swords to the more curved butterfly flick slicing weapons that they became. I would love to hear more about that. Put that in your notes as something for your show tomorrow if you can't bring that up now, because that's a really good point. But if there are ones that you are interested in, I might just do a book on dual wielding, although I do cover that. No, I don't. You know what? I'm not sure how far. I wrote the book 15 years ago, and I reference out of it, but I reference out of my mental and literal notes. I talk about dual wielding in the Simple Sword. But how in depth do I go? Let's see. Middle road. Really, I don't. I only give the slightest survey. I give a survey into it, but not. Do I need to write something on? Oh God, I feel it coming on, folks. Oh yes, that's another art project I have. Dual wielding. Manual. All right. There you go, guys. After I get through the strong sword, a few other things, dual wielding, the dual wielding manual has to be a thing. And Thesis has shared a link for a channel. Is that your channel, Thesis? I sort of live. Yay! We'll take sort of live, Foxy. And guys, while we're at the halfway point or a little past, please be sure to hit that like button. Please share this. I know this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but it might be somebody's shot of whiskey or that first cup of coffee in the morning that gets them going. So please share that around. I really want to support what we're doing out here. Indeed. Excellent. So there's a link in the chat. I can't follow this one that will take you to Bladed Thesis's YouTube channel, and you can then subscribe there so you don't miss his video tomorrow, and be sure to hit the notifications. Whenever you go to any YouTube channel, there's a little thing with the bell. You want to make sure the bell is white so you get everything. Because especially for people of martial arts backgrounds, weapon-based martial arts like we do, YouTube is notorious for kind of stifling that a bit. So I want to make sure that our message can get out there of martial arts are for everyone and adaptive martial arts. And I want to see more people appreciating the work and wonders of the people in my chat. Plus, it also makes, if you aren't a martial artist or you're not heavily into it, but you are a writer or a visual artist, or, you want to do movies, understanding the basic mechanics of how sword fights work will make your work better. And better sword fights inspire more people to make better sword fighters. It's a cycle, and I am whole from it. Let's see. I suck at promotion, but thank you for this. I'm crazy nervous, but I'll have to tap into my old DJ days. You'll do fine. We live in a world of firsts, guys. And I'm going to tell you something. The first tournament you get into, you will lose. Very, very likely. And that's okay. You should. You will learn. But the learning will make you better for the next one. And that way it will cycle. This is what we do, okay? And if you want to talk about what you love, you have to use the same methodology. This is why I teach people this way. A lot of folks are, oh, well, I want to get into it, but I can't. Fine, you can't. Okay. You can either see yourself to the door, or we're going to talk about why you can't. What's keeping you? Is it a simple matter of physical limitation? Then we can work around that. Is it some kind of mental block? A lot of people have a mental block about hitting their friends with sticks. I understand that. It's sometimes referred to as the lizard brain. We can work through that. But you have to know what's stopping you before you go on. Let's see. I used to have a small following back on YouTube, Yahoo chat room days. That takes me back. That I would do something I called Dragon Radio, where I would take requests and play metal that I didn't hear on trad radio. Back in the days where you wouldn't get sued off your gourd for doing things like that. That's great. Then you'll be fine. There's no reason to be nervous about it. Now, sorry, guys. I am actually a little flushed today. I got a lot done, and I've got a lot on my mind. We need to... I tell you guys every week, do your drills. Don't I, though? I'm sorry, I missed what don't I, though, meant. But if you have problems that are stopping you, let me know. We'll work through it. But I ask you, do you do your drills? Oh, man, I have a mental block of not hitting my friends with sticks. My little cousin wanted to play with her pink sword, and we did a little training, and she remembered the stuff I taught her before. Good! Excellent! If you are walking the path of the trainer, congratulations. Your life will always, you're building to be a support character. Welcome to the club. That's not a bad thing. I poke fun because it's a hard course to live. It's much simpler to walk if you're just doing it for you. But if you are doing it for the if you're doing it for the love of what you're teaching and sharing, you train and then you learn and you train, and it makes this gestalt of understanding. There will always be people who are stronger, faster, have longer reach. There will always be people that no matter how how skilled you get, they will beat you. And if that's the game, you got to think millions of people try to be a gold medal, uh, champion, an Olympic fencer, we'll say. It wears down to thousands. Okay, thousands get a ranking. Dozens get to be at the kind of level where they have a shot at it. If your dream is to be the very best that there never was, you're likely to find a level of disappointment. I'm not going to lie to you. It's there. You have a shot. But if your mission becomes to be the best fighter you can be, and that leads you down the path of championships, excellent. But if you go and you try your best and you fail every time, but you sincerely try in a sport style setting, be it, LARPs like, AmpGuard or the SCA, or actual, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. SCA brought, jumps it's right on the line. You go to Bohurt and, the professional sword and board fighters, a dear friend of mine, from the SCA days has jumped to that. She's hardcore. And I'm incredibly proud to hear that she's in training to try to go pro, even for a little while, knowing that there's a short window of life. I elected to use a lot of my prime window to build up others because I felt I could do more good training others than simply focusing on me. Different victory conditions. I came in second a lot. I regularly came in second in tournaments. Sometimes it was the guy was just better than me. Sometimes it was, there's a saying that ego has an infinite armor rating. So I don't know. Let's see. Cindy says, lost the first and last one too. They were not the same one. Shrug. There are reasons. It's still amusing. She did win one bout one time. He was surprised, but his cloak was really cool. Cool. She's only 6 and has a good enough foundation. Even though I don't know much about Eastern martial arts, I'm teaching her from what I do know. Well, there European martial arts. I saw the E. There are some good books to arrange to go her way when she's ready. No, I do not train minors. It is tragic, but it is a necessity for legal. And I certainly do not tell them about the simple sword that's available in some libraries and downloadable from Kindle, as well as pirated by several people. I don't tell them that because they might learn the techniques before it's legal for me to teach them. So I am not telling them that. Okay, it's a matter of personal responsibility that I am not telling them that. Right, Alec? Anyway, yeah, I wonder, where do you find sources of European martial arts? And no, of course not. See? That's only for adults. You're supposed to plug your ears. I promote to adults. This channel is for adults. I mean it. Don't go get me in trouble now. But to those who are 18 or older, or wherever the age of consent in your country is, because I am internationally sold, you can learn a lot from just a book and putting in the hours. You can learn a lot from the book and, say, video trainings like the ones I've done for my adult audience. You know, that's there. Keep them safe and teach them the basic drills. Teaching that muscle memory and developing it over time is a great skill for the people who are starting out in the martial arts. And the way I approach gives you a very controlled system. Controlled footwork. You can do screwy stuff once you have a foundation. But I'm going to tell you a great secret in life, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. No, age of consent adults, not maturity. Please, Foxy. You know better than that. But you've seen the way I dress. But when you don't know what to do, you build from the base. So if you're not sure about promoting, you just start small with your friends, social media. Maybe you attend some cons, maybe you put out some flyers, and you get on this thing called the YouTube and you look up, how do I promote my stuff? And then you try that and you pay attention to see what works. You want to learn Western martial arts. You can get books, you can get videos, you can watch fights. There's a huge amount of information that can be learned from watching fights. And I really believe that when you reach the age of 18 and it's legally safer for me to do so, I'll be happy to teach you. Now you can ask questions, you can study resources, you can learn, but do not do this at home. And guys, I put a thing. Please remember, martial arts are inherently dangerous. By viewing, you waive the right to hold the creator, me, the platform, YouTube, or Facebook or wherever else this is streaming, or guests, that's the chat, liable for any damages, injury, loss that may occur. We are here to help build people up. Mine isn't. Want to hear these nuts joke? Oh, Johnny, thank you for always keeping us, between the navigational buoys. Sadly, I didn't have time to record my basic stance form. This week has been, well, let's say, interesting. Well, there are two approaches to that. There is the write it off till next week form version, which is totally valid, or the get yourself a cheap tripod, set up your phone, and record it before you go to bed. There are always two. There is the cram or the pass, No, I do not. Thank you, Alec. That would be the aforementioned maturity manifesting. But what we want to do is encourage folks, because it's once you get going at this, you can find a lot of forms. You try to say, may you live in. I fully grasp the concept of the word interesting. So it's there. And see, Foxy will record you if you want. Oh, wait. I'm terrible. I annihilate excuses. Because I want to see you get out there and do what you do. I see no reason why someday Thesis couldn't be as popular as, say, Sword Sage. And I know Sword Sage. He's good people. You just have to build a good group. Do what you love. Be passionate about it and upgrade your quality. It's in the works. It may or may not be shtick. But the only way to go. So let's jump back a bit. We were talking about dual wielding, right? Let me see now. Oh, that's so satisfying. Sorry, I just love the sound of that. Okay. We've got my every sword trainer right here because I can swing it comfortably in this room. And let's just grab something that's not terribly assigned. Here we go. Beat up old Rondel dagger. Make with the pokey poke. When you're dual wielding, one thing I will give you as a freebie. Having slight to major length differences makes it easier because you don't tangle as much in your motion. So it's much easier to learn to dual wield with something like a sword and a dagger than it is with two swords. Now you can do two daggers, two short things, because they're not likely to tangle anyway. But the longer the primary sword gets, the more you want to make sure there's at least a little difference in what you're trying. And there is an inherent danger. If you get nothing out of me on this, looks at the black wall quietly, yes. I'm going to take that in the not perverted way. Thank you. You're watching a different stream. I said something that made Johnny think of a joke he didn't want to say. I don't know what it was. I can't say what's Linus, but I've verified that it exists. Brat. Anyway, and then Nick says, make with the pokey poke. Yes. Okay. Resetting for a moment, getting back online. The most dangerous concept, if you are dual wielding, and why sometimes it is much better to single wield, okay, either two-hand or one, although technically you're dual. We'll worry about that later, is this, okay. When I am single wielding, high outside, okay, so if I'm angled, this lovely belly is pointed towards my inside. We'll worry about that later. High outside, this guards my head and neck, shoulders. Good. Low inside, you can't see, but you can extrapolate that guards my hip high, my hip thigh to about the knee. High inside, which same area, just on the inside. So if a sword's coming at me, it's blocked. If it's attacking that way, it's blocked. And low outside. So 5, 6, 7, 8. I do that a lot. 5th guard, 6th guard, 7th guard, 8th guard. Oh, and look, I can do the same guards two-handed. Anyway, that makes quadrants. Quadrants are easy to keep track of because you have your center line and you are parrying away from your center line. The problem with that is if I have a second weapon, okay? Woo! 2 weapons. High and outside. Why does that feel wrong? 5, 6, low inside, high inside, low outside. This makes a set of quadrants that you have to block. When you have both, your inside quadrants overlap. So you end up with 6 sections. Okay? Sorry, that doesn't feel right. That is 6 sections. 2 outside, 4 outside. So high outside, low outside, and 2 inside because of the way the mirrored quadrants overlap. If they are here, I have this fairly well protected. This is covering the high line. This is covering the low line or extended. It's covered. If I go here, suddenly my inner line widens right up. This is called the inner road. And a lot of times, people who would never get hit with the shot that rode right up the middle is to you're vulnerable. Now, look, wait. Hold on. Disagree. When I did dual wield with Mutant Distressa, I did much better with 2 full-length foils than foil and main gouge. Well, there's two reasons for that, most likely. One, you're relatively long and lean in form, and you probably had a very decent teacher, especially from Distressa. And 2, if you are fighting sword and dagger, you have to remember you're fighting the main gouge as a main gouge. People try to make the main gouge behave as a sword, and it doesn't work as well. It's a balance thing. And with any rule, there's exceptions. So let's get to the main gouge. Hold on. Okay. This is my tank gouge. It's got a full mild steel bell. It weighs probably 2.5 pounds. This is heavy. Now, I park it in my offhand, so I need a primary weapon again. Hold on. Okay. If I try to grab this like this and use this as a short sword, I can. All day, every day. But that's not what a main gouge is for. Main gouge is meant to be parked roughly, at least for simple applications. Simple applications. Now, your arm positions are going to vary, and I am limited by working where I am, so bear with me. But if you need to teach somebody to dual wield real fast, main gouge, thumb behind the blade, flat presented blade. Guard is forward. This is totally not a buckler with a bad attitude. I mean, really. This is a buckler. This is a buckler on edge. Any questions? Anyway, if I'm in guard, okay, Distressa is an extended 4th, defense by intimidation, the 9th position in my system. This is what this hand really needs to be good at. The George Silver windshield washer. Shot that's coming high, because take your midline. Remember your midline? Bring it to figure out your natural waist. If it's coming over it, parry up. If it's under it, parry down. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, they've gotten in close. Either parry out, stab the arm, catch to parry, stab the arm. This, guys, is a drill. If you're fighting 2 weapons, learn this drill. It is such a stupid feeling drill, but learn it. For you, and with the way main gouges were rigged with foils, the weight difference is so much better. I love dual wielding foils. There's very little weight. There's very little interference. It's brilliantly. They flow well. It's an incredibly evolved, incredibly light weapon against other light weapons. It gets a little weirder the more weight you add into the equation. And yes, I believe, having watched your form, you have far more ambidextrous. You're more ambidextrous than a lot of people, Cindy. Just from watching you drill. And the higher your level of ambidextrousness, the easier it will be for paired matched weapons. So a lot of it is, I have to gear this towards the everyman of a slightly lower physical. Because if it's easier for you, bully. But I think that makes sense. Telling me not to go full Musashi, I like going full Musashi. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Going full Musashi is delightful. Just understand when you're going full Musashi You got to guard your middle road, or they're going to come up your middle road and take your life. That's a traditional technique. The line between funny, completely out of pocket, and completely out of pocket is when I tread lightly, carefully, Blue. I'm not much for dual wielding. I did make butterfly trainers back when I was first buffering, decided, and that's just because everyone there dual wielded. That's the other thing. If I have the option, I can dual wield. It's fun. I like sword and dagger because it was my specialty. I have a long history. But for sheer survivability, give me a nice rotella, give me a nice round shield, and I'll be there all day for survivability. Oh, later, so I don't want to interrupt. Exactly. You are so at what if you train ambidextrous, and that's one thing. And I will get back to Blue Teddy's comment. And as one almost the hazard to training ambidextrousness is you will go back and forth. I actually almost failed a authorization bout because I had to reauthorize after injury because I was so ambidextrous that I was constantly switching hands as I fight. And they thought I was screwing with them. I'm like, no, this is my style. I have limited reach, so I need to get my sword where it needs to go faster than I can get my body there. So a lot of times I'd be doing blade transitions left, right, and center. Well, yes. Now we want to get because this is interesting. This is a good point, and I will stay here a while. Blue Teddy says, I'm not much for dual wielding. I did make butterfly sword trainers back when I was first buffering. Oh, no, sorry, I clicked the wrong one. Later, so I don't interrupt. What do you recommend for getting over mental blocks when sparring? Because I tried karate and fencing and really enjoyed the forms and such, but sparring was bad. Well, that depends. If it is a matter of you simply don't want to hurt anyone, part of it is you have to do it. You have to learn to do it. And honestly, learning to break that level of extreme empathy, if you can, may be a necessary life-saving goal because you may have to be able to inflict damage on yourself, on others to keep yourself alive. It isn't optimal. I would love to live in a world where no one would need any of the skills I possess, except maybe the artwork, you know. But when it comes to this stuff, just slow work and continually building up the speed is one of the best ways. You need a trainer that you feel safe with, who can work with you in such a way that you feel safe participating. Some can't do that. They're not used to it. It's like some people are very overly aggressive. That's control and setback. Now, in my wife's case, they had to annoy her enough to get her to fight. She wanted to fight, but she had trouble with it. So they would poke her and harass her till she got annoyed and hit them with a stick, and then see I'm okay, and then they go and have a whole day of bouting. A lot of it's finding your personal triggers. And the other question is, why do you want to learn it? Because, and this might shock you, there is nothing wrong with simply learning forms. Because that's the way well over 99% of Tai Chi practitioners study martial arts. They learn their forms. They practice their forms for the internal healing. The mental, it takes facing it. You have to find where your anger is so you can control it. Some people don't have any, and then it just becomes a mathematical kind of thing. And some people, I've found a lot of the people who are truly gentle in this world are gentle because they don't want to be the other side of things. And somewhere in there is an anger that can be uh, contained, and they may be containing it. And they have to find a way to express anger and aggression and realize it's there. And that's one of the good things about fencing and sparring, especially, is that it can let that loose. The other thing is you should be playing. I want to put that. Martial arts are serious. The safety in martial arts is deadly serious. The training is deadly serious. The fun, the sparring can be and should be a good time. Unless you're training to be marked on points, you should enjoy what you're doing. And even if you are being trained, you should enjoy it. And if you're not enjoying it, maybe you're in the wrong system for you. Whereas you might like, you said you tried fencing. You may, is it you don't like hurting people, or that you're scared of being hurt? Because that could be a whole nother side of things. Is I love sparring, but I freeze up or I get uncomfortable when someone's attacking me. At which point I'd say it's vital that you learn something like this so that you can go, because, okay, let me stop. When opposed with a threat, there are three, not two, three responses that the human biology gives us. We can fight. Anger up, let's go. We can flee. I'm out. And you hear that, and we talk about fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight. There is a third option we don't talk about, and that's freeze. We are mammals, evolved from small little furry things that were around when the dinosaurs were around. Essentially, it gets complicated. We're not getting too far into it. But knowing when to hide and freeze and shut up is a valid survival strategy, but it doesn't work well by itself. And it's one that can get you hurt or killed in many modern situations. So it depends if your mental block is a freeze on your action or a fear of inaction. So I'd need a little bit more information. Yes, anyone who has seen knows the way. Main weapon in front with the backup behind rested against the forearm. Yes, no, I don't know. It's the same as the Tonto grip. I talk about it in my book. Oh, there went the bottom of my sheath again. Too much power. No, I'm fascinated in the why the weapons design changed, and that's something I'd love to hear more about. Imagine sparring partner took your fries without asking, Blue. No less. No, you know what? That is a valid point, Johnny. Because they are very wide, they have a very different kind of feel. And you have to remember that a machete is the most popular sword in the world. No one wants to admit it because it's a big knife. It's not a sword. And they get funny about pommels and stuff. Let me tell you, if it's long as your arm or longer, it's a sword. If it's longer than your forearm, it might be a short sword, but still a sword. Machetes, in my humble opinion, as somebody who spent 20 plus years teaching Western martial arts and, has a focus in history, in my humble BLS, machetes are probably, if they are the most common used sword, and they're the most combatively used sword in the world by the definition of it's a long knife. But messers are technically knives too. There's nothing wrong with that. And I can see where you got that. The older butterfly swords would feel more like machetes. I would have to recalibrate often. People kept saying I didn't hit hard enough. And see, that was a thing I had issue with a lot. And that's because people, I don't know if it's different in the other kingdoms, but in the Middle Kingdom, uh, you shouldn't have light as a shot from a rapier. It just shouldn't be possible. I've heard of like tip cuts and people being stupid about that, and like not even glancing, like it's a push cut where it's not a draw cut. I, for one, took all of them. I took all of them because if you laid steel on me, you get the point in my mind. I would rather have to fight a harder level and be considered less than the other way around. Let's see. That's the approach they took with me. First, they tried to spar my little brother because I figured he annoyed me, but I'm protective, so it had the opposite effect. Go light and slow at first, maybe 15 and power, work your way 10-15% speed and power, then work your way up. If you have to go slower, then do so. Nothing wrong with that. Sorry, my nose is itching. When I passed the slow form test, the teacher asked if I was interested in martial aspects or just forms. Now I'm learning the application of the forms. Oh, Cindy, you are in a truly blessed place. One moment, please. Go. Okay, there we go. Application is a very different beast from most forms. Most people don't use Tai Chi and Bagua as combative because they look too pretty. Woe be to those who test it. If, and I say if, with all things, and I'm a guy who kind of admires Aikido, although I never trained in it, though it was alleged, you have to stress test. If you're going to take something from a form only to a application, you have to stress test the pants off of it. And you have to learn to adapt it real fast. Or else you get the Tai Chi Bagua guys who get up into an MMA ring, start up and get annihilated. And I hate to say that, but you really need to be sure you're stress testing it. And as soon as you can find people you trust, stress test it from outside your system. So in Eastern terms, if you've been studying karate and you've only sparred against other karate professionals, find a Taekwondo guy you trust. A great would be a dojo where you go, I am looking to cross-train. May I attempt safe sparring with, whatever. See what happens. Learn. Many, many martial arts came from two martial artists meeting, agreeing to not kill each other but beat the tar out of each other, and then discussing what happened. Is it insane? Kinda. Is it one of the few ways to actually learn? Yes. Excellent. That's what I want to hear, because that means that your teacher is using it in a way that works. I am fascinated by this, and I am delighted. No, I have a high pain tolerance. I'm not particularly jumpy. I just have a hard time hitting people to the extent that kind of surprised me. That's what that tells me, is that you are kind of, as advertised, a gentle and loving soul, probably of extremely high empathy, being someone who was like that until I failed to be so. I understand that, and it may be spiritually uncomfortable for you to engage in this kind of martial art, and there's no shame in that. But it would be better to understand how to defend yourself. You may, if this is something you're bumping into, and you may want to look into something like CPI, where you can learn to protect yourself genuinely without hurting someone. It's different. And it won't work in all situations, but it's better than having nothing. And I am not qualified to instruct it, but I do suggest that you look up a system like that. I don't like hurting others. For what I want to learn, I guess that forms parts relaxing and almost grounding. Yes. No, 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 no. There is nothing wrong, especially Tai Chi, with grounding out because what? Think about it. A good martial art establishes your balance. It establishes your center. It roots you to the earth so you're less likely to fall over. And it teaches you how to move elaborate ways so that you're not going to hurt yourself. There's nothing wrong with it coming from a perspective of I am learning it to do that and only that. Because you're being honest with yourself. So find a park Tai Chi class and learn the fool out of the forms. Yes. Next thing we know, blues in professional wrestling. Bam! I'm telling you. Chair. I'll look into that. No, I think that's probably the best route for you, at least for now. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to tell you, I have a modified form of my drills that I do. And I do vary versions depending what style I'm working with at the time, every night. And I'm not doing it to gain the skill. I mean, I'm trying to but I'm doing it because it centers me, it calms me, it clears my mind. It's meditative. It's physical meditation. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I preach a lot on application and understanding. But what you're doing is you understand that that is not how you want to apply it. And that's fine. Or no, the more Kung Fu versus MMA fighter videos, the harder I laugh. I understand that too. And push hands is a great mid-grade because you're not really making pressured contact. So if you learn Tai Chi and you move to the push hands variants, it's pressure without impact. That might be something very good for you if you want to weave into that. If not, that's okay too. And I do very push hands like drills when I'm teaching people who are of a mentality to receive them. Because when I'm teaching people, and it's important to understand this, everybody gets the same elementary education from me. And that's something I do. Everybody who walks in when I'm working with them gets an evaluation from me and the same basic assessment. Then I see what they need. Now, some of them, those who can, will get very slow, controlled drills to balance everything out. So a frequent one is the parry riposte drill, where someone throws the first shot at about half to a quarter speed, still in controlled slow speed. The defender blocks, deals with it in such a way, and then counters. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2. And what you get is a very slow set of motions. Usually the footwork is fixed or relatively fixed. I like to use it to teach ranges as well, where you're trying to stay as close together as possible. Boom, 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 boom. Shot comes in, move it out, send a shot. And it becomes this very structured, almost a physical call and response. You can learn a lot. And that starts to teach your muscles so that when you've done this enough, if you are of that mentality, you not only do you learn what the other person is like, are they aggressive? Are they reserved? How do they move? You learn how you are, what feels natural. It's a great set of drills for things much more complex, especially when you get sword and dagger or something in, bam, bam. And all you do is, if one goes through, good, but you continue the pattern. You don't break. You don't break on a contact. You say good arm and you keep going. Because the purpose of it isn't simply defense. It's a different. Sparring is a debate. It is a physical debate. Okay. When I'm sparring with someone, I want to get my point across. I want to be correct. Bam. I want the to score the kill, whatever, however you want to phrase it. It really is a debate. And I'm saying my skills and weaponry combo are better than yours. And the other person, is saying the same thing. And we see who at that moment is correct. There's no moral issue in it, any more than there's a moral issue of which is the right way to solve a math problem. But it's that. But something like the drill I'm talking about is a discussion. And it's asking things. What do you do if I do this? Do you respond aggressively? Do you respond subtly? And then later you realize that the debates are also discussions. It's all communication. There's so much information going between opponent, right? Either arm-to-arm contact, body contact, or blade-to-blade. Tacto. The information that comes from feeling another opponent's blade through yours. Tacto. It's why I call my Patreon newsletter Cyber Tacto. I want to put that information across. And that's where you're going to learn what works for you and works for them. But I think that might be the best place for you to go, because with the right person, you're not really sparring. And you can find what your body has to say about that. So for you, Blue, I would suggest, if you're using weapons, again, comfortable length weapons. I wish you were closer, because this is one of those things I could work on in an afternoon to about 4 and solve with just somebody, face to face. But because I'm not terribly intimidating, so I'm perfect for this set of issues. I like to have a heavy round that when I'm dealing with people who need a more aggressive thing than perhaps my body currently can do, I can point them to. And developing them takes time. I do have a few. And I've been known to call them from time to time. But for you, it's very much a build-up, not tear down. So I know I got into Blue's questions. I hope that helps her and anyone else watching. We're at an hour and a half, and I'm halfway through my beverage. It looks like the comments have dried up, so either you guys are really into what's being said or you're getting distracted. So I'm thinking this might be a good point to call it for the night. I have a lot to do before I can go to sleep tonight, because I have to catch up on some of the cleaning and prep for tomorrow so that I don't exhaust myself tomorrow setting up for the situation. So with that, guys, it's absolutely my pleasure. And Blue, you do know you can reach out to me at any point you want. This goes for any of you guys. Contact me either through comments here or through my Facebook or my X, Twitter, Twix, whatever. Oh, hello, Ogre. I didn't know you've been lurking, you delightful man, you. And Art, yes, Art, deviantart.com. But reach out to me if you have any questions or comments. I love helping people. That's why I set this channel up. But I am going to call it so that I can go do some Mr. Mom things and get the house in order as it needs to be. And I'm not going to do any late night yard work stuff. That's for another time. But I am going to do what I can here for my local guildies. The rest of you guys, please, please, guys, do your drills. I say that every day. Keep your eyes open and do your drills. Be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, thank you for supporting your local sword master. I will see you next week, possibly with some more. I actually totally missed my evening meds. So, yes, I am very much past my meds time. Thank you for the reminder, Johnny. I forgot to throw them down before the show started. So, I will talk to you all very soon. Have a lovely day.